Hey, what's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So, Watcher Guru, shout out to them. They just crossed 1 million followers on Twitter. They're always on top of this stuff, always bringing us up to speed on the latest and greatest news and information around the crypto world. And right now, and for the past week or so, it has been the Terra Luna show, right? So, we're still trying to figure out. It's kind of funny. We're talking about all these different angles and where they're going with the project, what they're going to do, what the voting looks like today, but we really don't even know what the hell happened. And we're still trying to search for answers here. Now, we do have some information here. And again, I don't want to point the finger one direction or the other. I do think there's some merit to the BlackRock Citadel hypothesis, we'll call it, that came out from Charles Hoskinson right around the same time, UST started falling hard. But this is interesting. It says official documents also reveal that Kwon dissolved Terraform Labs in Seoul and Busan, days before the Luna and UST crash. So some would say that this was kind of fishy. It's too ironic. And here's Gossip Shib. If it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, then it's probably a duck. So basically, where there's smoke, there's fire here. Why would he go ahead and dissolve Terraform Labs? It's almost like it was a coordinated attack and he knew what was coming. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't really know, but we'll dive into this article and put a little meat around this, and then hopefully you can make a better informed decision on what you think happened. So, Terraform Labs is now incorporated in Singapore. Okay, it was before this whole thing happened, based in Korea. So, Do Kwon tried to dissolve Terraforms in Korea just days before this historic crash. Again, now it's in Singapore, but the entity did not apply for a license under the Payment Services Act. And we're pulling this information from Wikipedia. Sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's not so accurate, right? Therefore, it's still not a notified entity even in Singapore right now. As per documents hyperlinked on Wikipedia, Kwon filed to dissolve the company's Korean entity back on April the 30th. The filing was done in the Supreme Court of South Korea's registry office. Kwon was then approved on May 4th to dissolve the entity just days before the UST and Luna crash took place. This is interesting, right? Isn't this ironic? This kind of smells fishy to me, right? The Wikipedia page took excerpts from the Straits Times that highlighted its licensing. I'll get this ad out of there. And regulatory issues. Here's what it reads. All right, it says here, Terraform Labs, the company behind UST, is incorporated in Singapore, but did not submit an application for a license number under the Payment Services Act, according to the Straits Times. It is also not a notified entity. What does this mean? It is not granted temporary exemption from holding a license by the Monetary Authority of Singapore. So, according to the documents filed by Kwon, again, just days before the crash, at the Supreme Court of South Korea's registry office, Kwon filed to dissolve the company's Korean entity on April 30th and was granted approval on May 4th. Again, days before UST and Luna crashed. Now, again, pretty ironic, pretty interesting, right? This would just be a crazy coincidence, but I think there's something here, right? What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Now, Kwon is trying to dissolve the firm's Korean entity, or the fact that he's doing so is also a widely discussed subject on Reddit, and you can read about it here by clicking this link. It takes you, down the rabbit hole of all these other filings and information. But this was an interesting angle that I hadn't really dove into. Of course, today's a big day for Luna. People are going to be voting on its future. And if we go over here, actually, I've actually been tracking this a little bit. So now we've got 70 million votes are in. Right now, they're looking to get 376 million. It says here, this ends in 7 days. So this proposal is up here at station.terra.money. And again, the proposal is to create a new Terra chain without the algorithmic stablecoin UST. The old chain would be called Terra Classic, and the new chain would be called Terra. And Luna would be airdropped across Luna Classic stakers, Luna Classic holders, residual UST holders, and essential app developers of Terra Classic. So you can read all about that right here. And the voting is opened up, and we're seeing a lot of people voice their opinions. But this is something interesting I wanted to hit on, the whole Do Kwon thing with the dissolving of the business days before the crash. Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. I think there might be something to this, right? So we'll see. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.